Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson let bills pass into law against vaccine mandates. Attorney General Garland is in the spotlight for calling on law enforcement to investigate parents concerned about their children's education. In Chicago, the head of a police union is urging members to defy the mayor's vaccine reporting rules. And wrapping up today's show, a look at a patriotic hymn. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson let legislation pass that allows employees to opt out of vaccinating by proving they have acquired immunity to the virus or submitting to a negative COVID-19 test. The Republican governor allowed Senate Bills 739 and 1977 to become law on Wednesday, even though he disapproves of the bills because they discourage people from receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. The bills will become law unless the governor vetoes them within 5 days. The law was passed without his signature in response to a mandatory vaccination requirement for federal employees in businesses with 100 or more employees issued by President Joe Biden last month. Hutchinson said he disagrees with the federal requirements for vaccinations, but the answer is not to introduce additional state regulations. Hutchinson went on to say that the federal mandate includes exemptions for religious and medical reasons, allowing those who do not want to receive the vaccine to be tested weekly. He said employers need the freedom to protect their employees and their customers, and government should not interfere with that freedom through mandates. Only a few private and government vaccine mandates in the world allow exemptions for natural immunity to the virus, even though many studies show that natural immunity lasts a long time. Some red states have taken similar steps to block or weaken Biden's mandate. In neighboring Texas, Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order prohibiting private companies or other entities from requiring vaccination. Calls for a special legislative session to oppose vaccine requirements have also come out in Wyoming, Kansas, and South Dakota. The new state laws does not include any penalties or fines for companies that do not comply. But under the Biden administration, companies that do not comply with the federal order face fines up to $13,600 for each violation. A government auditor is looking for clarification after reports revealed that Attorney General Merrick Garland's son-in-law, Xan Tanner, is the co-founder of a company promoting critical race theory in schools. America First Legal, AFL, filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the Department of Justice on Wednesday, pursuing records related to a memo where the AG directed the National Security Division of the DOJ and the FBI to investigate parents who oppose CRT at school board meetings. Garland was criticized because the announcement came days after the National School Boards Association sent a letter to President Biden pointing out that parents were engaging in domestic terrorism by objecting to CRT during school board meetings. Now, Garland is also coming under increasing scrutiny because his son-in-law is co-founder of a company that supports and promotes CRT. Tanner's consulting firm has ties to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's charitable foundation is dubbed the Chan-Zuckerberg Initiative. It was listed in 2017 as one of several organizations that collectively gave $16 million to Panorama, which the company would use for social emotional work. Social emotion is actually a variation of CRT used to confuse people. Stephen Miller, founder of AFL and former advisor to President Trump, argued that any ethical conflicts arising from Garland's personal family financial interest must be investigated. AG Garland ordered the DOJ to use its vast national security powers to target parents who object to critical race theory being forced onto innocent children. It is therefore exceptionally urgent that the department disclose all records pertaining to the Garland family's financial interest in critical race theory and any and all ethical conflicts that arise from the financial interest, Miller said. Asra Namani of Parents Defending Education tweeted in response to Garland's announcement that he has declared war on parents and his daughter is married to the co-founder of Panorama Education, which has multi-million-dollar contracts with school boards to teach CRT. Now Garland is trying to silence the parents. The head of the Chicago Police Union called on members to defy the city's request to report their COVID-19 vaccination status by Friday or be placed on leave without pay. In late August, Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced that all City of Chicago employees would be required to be vaccinated against the coronavirus. As of October 15th, any city employee who has not been vaccinated or tested twice a week or has not been granted a religious or medical exemption will be placed on unpaid status. Lightfoot threatened there will be consequences if people are not complying with what the policy is by October 15th deadline. On Tuesday, John Catanzara, the president of Lodge 7 of the Fraternal Order of Police, vowed to take Lightfoot's administration to court if it tries to enforce the mandate. After Friday, workers who are not vaccinated will be placed on unpaid leave if they do not undergo semi-weekly coronavirus testing. Catanzara said he will go on unpaid leave Friday in solidarity with unvaccinated officers. He said the city of Chicago will have only 50% or less of its police force this weekend. But that's not because of the Fraternal Order of Police. Rather, it's the mayor's refusal to negotiate in good faith on the issue. Catanzara instructed officers to request waivers to receive the vaccine, but not to enter the information into the city's vaccine portal. He said that while he has clarified his vaccine status, he does not believe the mayor has the authority to mandate vaccinations to anyone, let alone information about your medical history. Attorneys for the Fraternal Order of Police have drafted a class action complaint to cover everything under the sun that police officers may lose if they refuse to vaccinate. And coming up, Virginia rewrites laws that schools do not have to report certain crimes, and a close look at a patriotic song. But before we continue, I just want to say thank you to everyone's continued support. With censorship being extremely inundating, it's more important than ever that every patriot takes the time to share this video so we can keep our friends and family informed with truthful information. You can also help the Eye Opener team with our mission to deliver truthful news by donating to the show or purchasing a mug that matters. You can find the link in the description below, and your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. Salute, my friends. Governor Ralph Northam signed into law a bill allowing schools not to report incidents of sexual assault, stalking, violations of protective orders, and threats of violence in schools in 2020. But under Virginia Code 22.1-27931, these incidents must be reported to law enforcement if they occur on school grounds, along with other major crimes. Democrats insisted that the reporting requirement for misdemeanors be eliminated in House Bill 257, replacing the word criminal with felony in the code. After the bill passed Congress last year, Virginia's House Republican leader Todd Gilbert argued that the policy would make students, teachers, and school staff much less safe. Just a year and a half later, an attempt by Loudoun County Public Schools to cover up the rape of a 15-year-old female student by a transgender male student in the girls' restroom came to light in an explosive story in the Daily Wire. In any case, school officials were legally obligated to report the incident to law enforcement because it crossed the line. The school actively misled the public about the sexual attack in an effort to change school policy that would make it easier for biological males to access female restrooms and locker rooms. At a school board meeting on transgender guidance held less than a month after the attack, Loudoun County Public Schools Superintendent Scott Ziegler claimed that there was no record of an assault in the school's restrooms. We wonder what Ziegler would have done if the person who was raped had been his wife or daughter. Education policy has become a major issue in the race to become the state's new governor. Republican Glenn Youngkin advocates more parental control over policy, and Democrat Terry McAuliffe claims he doesn't believe parents should tell schools what they should teach. Or what he is really saying is, parents, you should just shut up and do as you're told. Next, we have the story about a famous patriotic song. The Battle Hymn of the Republic is an American patriotic song with lyrics by Julia Ward Howe that became popular during the Civil War. The tune links the American Civil War with Judgment of the Wicked by quoting verses from the Bible in Isaiah 63:1-6 and Revelations 14:19, and it immediately spread throughout the northern and southern United States. However, revisiting this song will give us key insights into the current crisis-ridden world during this momentous time in American history. The tune of the song was originally a hymn in Southern folk tradition, recorded in the early 19th century. The original words and music were written by South Carolinian William Steff. It is also called Canaan's Happy Shore or Brothers Will You Meet Me, and was sung as campfire soul music. It was later adapted by Thomas Bishop into the song John Brown's Body. Julia Ward Howe, born in New York City in 1819, was an American abolitionist, activist, and poet who strongly supported unity. She and her husband, the famous Massachusetts reformer Dr. Samuel Gridley Howe, were visiting Washington, D.C. when they saw the army south of the Potomac River and sang the popular song John Brown's Body with the soldiers. A friend at the time suggested that she fill in new lyrics for the marching song. On the night of November 18, 1861, she recalls, "I went to bed that night as usual and slept, according to my wont, quite soundly. I awoke in the gray of the morning twilight, and as I lay waiting for the dawn, the long lines of the desired poem began to twine themselves in my mind. Having thought out all the stanzas, I said to myself, I must get up and write these verses down, lest I fall asleep again and forget them. So she got out of bed and wrote down these lyrics.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free, while God is marching on.
The song of divine origin has endured not only because it's lively, but also because its lyrics are patriotic, religious, and celebrate liberty. Today we hear this sacred song at every inauguration of a new president and other important festivals. Yet many of our elected officials and politicians see it only as a traditional ritual. And how many of them can appreciate the divine teachings and revelations conveyed in the song? How many are able to continue to practice God's teaching amid the deceptions and temptations of the devil in different guises? We often hear the phrase, God bless America, because the founding of the United States is rooted in God. But as more and more people turn away from God's teachings, what will be the results? As I revisited these lyrics, I was reminded of God's mercy. We are all like lost lambs in the world, having been away from God for far too long. It is time to return to tradition. It is time to return to God. And that's it for today, my friends. Check out the playlist right here for more eye-opening content. You can join me in the Eye Opener Telegram chat room and follow me on Newmaker, Gab, Parler, and Getter. Don't forget, please sign up to the email list so that we can stay in touch. I'd like to thank you all and have a wonderful weekend.